It's me, Goldensword. I've recorded this video like 4 times now, because each time I do it, it rambles on for 5 minutes, and I don't want to do that, because you guys hate that. Anyway, yes, I'm back. It's been 3 weeks. What happened first week was semester test. I did a whole semester test. It was like getting that stuff done. Second week, while I was gone, I got really sick. I was like, it was like stress or something. It was just not nice. I didn't like it. Third week, which is, I didn't feel like doing it. Semester test, like, drew me out. So I was just like, I was like, and I got sick and I was like, and it was just, and I didn't feel like doing it. But anyway, I'm back. I'm finishing up this video. Quick question. I have 2 chapters of this done. I don't know if I'm going to finish it all up. I don't know. There's 1 more chapter left. I want to throw it into this video, but this video is already going to be like 20 minutes long because of the 2 chapters I'm throwing into it. It's like 90 parts long, but I won't explain the 90 parts again. Anyway, yes, this is official. I'm leaving that up. That hasn't been there for 3 weeks. Don't be crazy. I just threw it back up there when I wanted to record a video. Lots of zits on my face and my beard that looks nasty. This is literally everything I've said in the last video, and just like really shortened. Anyway, thank you guys. Go watch. Be free. It was a minute, 2 minutes. Be free. Go away. Free. Enjoy.
But we act like gravity locked down humanity, lightning insanity striking inside me. Whoa, whoa, it's the heartbeat of mystery. Whoa, whoa, like lightning inside me.
You regain consciousness to the sound of trickling water and the scent of marigolds. Your eyes flutter open, only to find endless blackness above you and the golden flower petals bordering your vision. Disoriented and unsure how you ended up laying on your back, you try to remember what you were last doing. Let's see. There was the echo flowers, and then the stars, and then the Oh God! You walked off the. You tried to. But I'm not dead. You realize. In light of this simple fact, your body violently seizes as a tidal wave of overpowering and overwhelming feelings crash down on you. It's a maelstrom of emotions, entangled and real, and borderline painful. In the confusion of it all, you're pretty sure you felt flashes of relief and disappointment, anger and shame, and many, many more, until your body does you a favor of dulling your senses by sending you into complete and total shock. Uncontrollable trembling. You grasp for breath, but no matter how much air you swallow it never seems to be enough. And even though you don't have a physical heart, there's a pounding in your chest that won't go away, and it unbearably hurts. You didn't die, you tell yourself again, equal parts stunned and upset. But you came so close.
What's this? Don't tell me you've fallen for me, bonehead.
The yellow flower's face eclipses your field of view. Upside down in yours, he looks annoyed of all things.
Oh, you're really not my type.
You're still too scattered to react right away, beyond gulping for oxygen like a fish on dry land.
Getting desperate, are we? Aw, how cute. But if you wanted my help offing you, you could have just asked instead of throwing yourself at me. Falling into a bed of posies isn't exactly spookuku.
You feel vines beginning to creep up your legs while he talks, trying to be inconspicuous. Alarm bells sound in your head and you force yourself to act. Before the flower gets a chance to tie you down, you manage to wink out of reality, reappearing several yards away, about 2 feet in the air and still horizontal from your original position. Gravity kicks in and you hit the water with a splash, but the cold and wet helps slap some sense into you. You stand soaked and dripping, unsteady on your shaky feet. You take in the sight of the bush that just saved your life. It's incredibly overgrown and thick with golden flowers, and you crash landing doesn't seem to be the first it experienced, judging by all the scattered broken twigs floating in the water around it.
Did you grow those flowers here?
Your voice quivers as you fight through the trauma. Every coherent thought is screaming at you to stay wary of him in your muddled state.
No, I wish someone would have cleared them away after the human fell on them like you just did.
Flowey answers you straight.
You would have finally been out of my way if they weren't here. I bet you knew those flowers were there, didn't you?
The flower's expression turns sly.
You know, walking off the bridge wouldn't kill you, so you must have done it for some other reason. Could it be that you tossed yourself onto them intentionally? To find me, perhaps?
As if. Why on earth would I ever want to seek you out for company?
Because you need me.
The flower gives you his most innocent smile.
I'm the only one you know who can still make you feel things.
Not true!
You look up the chasm you just plummeted down. Flowey follows your gaze and chuckles condescendingly.
What? That? You think you're all cured because of your little daredevil stunt? You think you're magically learned how to feel again because you bit the bullet, but not the dust? No, Sans, you're drunk on adrenaline. Give it a day and you'll sober up. And then you come crawling right back to me.
I don't need you!
You seethe. You turn to walk away, your legs sloshing through the waist-high water. You don't want to deal with him right now. You shouldn't even be wasting your time talking to him. You're still too Adele to sort out your own newfound conflicting emotions. And you need to get as far away as you can from home. This whole place in general. God, you would fast travel as far away as you could if you weren't so shaken.
Oh, but you do.
The flower says in a moaning tone, slithering behind you.
You won't admit it. Not even you yourself. But I'm the sole reason you haven't tried to terminate yourself sooner.
You click your tongue, an impressive feat for not having one, and keep walking, trying to make sense of where you are. But it's just a bunch of soggy garbage, and refuse as far as your eyes can see.
Think about it.
Flowey snakes after you.
I've made you express fear, and anger, and self-loathing when you could no longer feel anything else. I made you feel scared and paranoid in Snowdin. If only for a second. I made you feel mad and concerned in Alpheus's lab. Though, you didn't even notice it. Face it! You're terrified of being emotionless. So, you're using me to live.
Right now, you're making me feel sick and tired of listening to your crap coming out of your mouth.
You retort, finally managing to suppress your shivers. You recognize some stars and begin to ascend. You know where you are now.
That reasoning is so convoluted and contortionary to your goal. If you really believed I would have killed myself sooner without your interference, then why didn't you just stay away?
Because it's fun watching you make yourself suffer in silence. Duh.
Bullshit. You're just running out of ideas on how to taunt me, so now you're making shit up.
Still don't believe me? I can prove it.
Yeah, how?
You come to a disproportionately small gap. A small yellow bird offers to carry you across, but you politely decline and simply jump to the other side.
Easy! Because I'm still here.
The weed explains, popping up on the other side after you.
You know I promised to kill you, and yet you're still letting me live. You know I've been stalking you virtually every waking minute, and yet you've never confronted me. Hell, you're letting me walk by your side, not even 2 feet away from you.
You make your way across the bridge seats.
If you really, truly wanted me gone, you could have tracked me down so easily and stopped me for good. I know this because, unlike you, I can remember every save I've been in. And I've seen you do it before. But since this time you're not, that must mean you want me around for something.
What? Do you want me to take you out right now?
You challenge, calling his bluff.
You couldn't even hit me if you tried.
The flower boasted, unfazed.
Oh yeah?
You come to a halt. Fed up with his fibs, you wave your arm and a circle of bones materialize around the both of you.
Then tell me how you like the
A vein you didn't see strikes across the back of your ankles, tripping you and knocking you flat on your back. With your skull to the ground, you swear you can hear the sound of fading laughter through the dirt as Flowey runs away.
You dirty, rotten cheater!
You mutter to the earth.
It wasn't your turn!
You admit it was a mistake trying to fight him when you're still so befuddled. You need to learn to stop falling for his gibs while you weren't 100% rational. With an aggravated sigh, you pick yourself up and brush it off. More than willing to put his words behind you. It sounds like he's the one getting desperate to you. With those weak, flimsy lies, being dependent on him? Pfft, get real. A masochistic relationship like that could only be formed through the unholy union of gaslighting and Stockholm Syndrome. You shake your head at the idiocy of all and cross the border back to Snowdin. Though still badly unnerved about what you just survived, you felt it was time to finally go home. You really wish the flower had been wrong. You went straight to bed when you finally returned home. It was hours still before you found sleep. There was too much to think about first. Body still buzzing with emotion, you tried your best to sort through them, hoping to understand how you kept yourself from losing them again.
You didn't die.
You think to yourself, as if you still couldn't accept the fact that was true, unless you said it 100 times.
But now you have to keep living.
You don't understand it. How could two phrases, practically the inverse of each other, have such drastically different implications?
You got a second chance. Are you happy?
Yes? No? You don't know.
What did you feel? And why did you feel that way?
Let's see. You had felt scared when you were falling, or maybe afraid of the pain of impact. Unready, like you realized you had made a big mistake. Unvalidated because you were still alive, but also upset because you were still alive. And now you have to keep being alive, with one more fuck up to add to your list of mistakes.
You're still alive. You should be glad.
Still alive? But still being alive meant still waking up every morning knowing everyone else was gone. Still being alive meant still remembering people you've hurt and people you couldn't save. Still being alive meant risking forgetting how to feel again.
Would being dead be better?
Yes? No? You don't know. You guess You were scared of pain and dying, but it was temporary disquiet, really worse than living the rest of your life in guilt or shame. Or worst of all, an existence devoid of empathy and care. Yes, no, you don't know. You just don't know. You sleep for 16 solid hours. It was a blissful, dreamless sleep, lacking any level of awareness and certainly more rest than you had in all the last 5 months combined. But your worst fears are threatened to be confirmed when you awake the next day, still feeling drained in more ways than one. The flower was right. Your near-death experience had only been a temporary fix and not a permanent solution. God, you hope that didn't mean he had been right about the other stuff he said. No. Of course he wasn't. You don't need him. He always came to you. Hell, you never asked for his opinion or conversation on anything. He simply gave it to you free of solicitation, whether you wanted it or not. You are his distraction, his entertainment, his plaything. He needed you. Doubt. Yeah. That's what he was doing. Planting seeds of doubt in your mind to make you double guess yourself and confuse your messed up psyche even more. Fitting for a weed. But you weren't going to fall for it. You half humored the thought of telling someone what you did on the bridge, but decide against it. As far as you were concerned, it didn't work, so it didn't matter. And despite how you still felt, or rather didn't feel, you knew you weren't going to try that particular course of actions again, anytime soon. Sans, you never tell anybody anything, your brother had once said to you. Good to know at least one thing about you hadn't changed all this time. It was weird being home again. You float through your house, taking it all in with hollow eyes. Could you even still call this your home anymore? A vital piece you didn't want to name was missing, making this place feel more like solitary confinement rather than a place of belonging. Ever since that first day, you did not dare enter Papyrus's room again. You did not want to be reminded that it was empty, or disturb his belongings and tarnish the last memories you had of him. You didn't even dare touch all of his leftover spaghetti in the fridge. Not wanting the day to pass when you open it to find all of his pasta gone, like him. You did your absolute best to keep everything in the house the same as it had been when he was still with you, despite knowing that keeping things as they were was not the same as returning to how things had been. And maybe it was a constant reminder that things could never truly be the same as normal again that made you want to stay away from home as much as possible above all else. You couldn't stand to be reminded how utterly alone you were in the one place you needed company most. You have no idea where you're going to go today as you struggle to get dressed. Waterfall and Hotlands were out of the question, so it seemed by default you stuck with hanging out in Snowdin for now. It's been a while since you last let yourself be seen here anyway. You try to act natural as you walk through the neighborhood, but even here in your hometown you can't help but feel out of place. Not even your own neighbors seem to recognize you anymore. They look at you the way one would at a tourist or a stranger. Or an unwanted visitor. Or maybe that was just your imagination. Either way, you didn't stick around too long in one spot. Subconsciously, you find your feet taking you to Grillby's, and you have to force yourself to steer away before you can enter. How long had it been since you lashed out at Grillby's and his few remaining regulars? A month? 2? You hadn't been back since you got kicked out all that time ago, but you still weren't eager to see people's reaction to you now. The center of town is also full of people today, all far merrier than you can ever dream to be. You look at the other way when they start to exchange gifts with the family and friends they still have. It seems the only option left was getting lost in the woods. But that was fine by you? You were done trying to maintain appearance or fit in. It was a beautiful day in the forest, all things considered. The snowflakes fell softly and sparkled like diamonds. The icicles that hang in the trees shimmered, refracting what little light they could catch into rainbows in the branches. The carpet of snow beneath your feet was fresh and fluffy. Despite the breathtaking scenery all around you, you couldn't appreciate it. With no distractions in sight, your thoughts were working overtime, dragging your mind deeper into an unescapable black hole with each step you took.
Why do you even bother to keep running away? There's no place left you can go that doesn't bring up memories of you hurting others or yourself. Why keep trying?
You come to a clearing filled with scarred and blackened trees as if some battle had taken place here. It takes you a moment, but you recognize it as the very same clearing you made in your fit of rage months ago.
See? Even this place reminds you of your mistakes you made. There's nowhere you can hide from what you've done. There's nothing left for you here. Nothing left for you anywhere. You're so pathetic. Still trying to find meaning in your life in a dead-end timeline. You continue to study the trees. A dark idea formed in your head. Any observations of the area would agree a near unstoppable force would have been necessary to cause so much destruction. Even though you claimed you weren't that strong, you also weren't a tree, and didn't have that much health to begin with. You had caused all this damage. You could do it again. It was so obvious. Why hadn't you done this from the start? It would be so easy for it to be written off as a training accident by the time someone found your dust. If someone found it at all. Standing in the middle of the clearing, you call upon your magic and fill the sky with pearly white bones. Dozens upon dozens crowd the air above you in a tightening packed circle big enough to fill the whole clearing. You watch them, frozen in the air, waiting to fire on your command. You hesitate, vainly listening for any voice of reason one last time, but hear nothing. Guess this is it, huh?
You say to yourself, and then an answer.
Guess so.
You exhale, a sigh of defeat, a sign of appreciation. One last time. You pull your head down. The bones on the outermost edge come down first, closing in on you on all sides like ripples from the skipped stone and leaving no escape. You watch as your circles rapidly get smaller and smaller. You flinch against your will, squeeze your eyes shut, and nothing happens. You wait several seconds, expecting pain at any moment, but it doesn't come. Slowly, carefully, you open your eyes. There's no room for you to move. Bones are packed so tightly around you that they brush against your clothing. Very cautiously, you look up and find 3 bones hovering centimeters from your head. A brief flicker of surprise dances in your ribcage before fading away as if it had never been there. You groan in despair. You had reflexively willed the last bones not to impale you at the very last second. Even if you had managed to catch them at such a close call, it wouldn't have mattered because you also noticed you unconsciously turned them blue. They couldn't have hurt you at all. You can't do it. You just can't do it. But why? What is it that keeps holding you back? You wave your hand in defeat, and the weapons vanish like smoke. You slump down where you stand, grabbing your legs, putting your chin on your knees, and stare blankly at nothing. Fine. Since you can't seem to manage to take yourself out, then you were going to sit here until weather or time did it for you.
Coward!
A disgusting little voice says next to you. You detect a bit of yellow just outside your peripheral vision on your right, but you don't bother to look or respond.
I don't understand why you're having such a hard time with this,
Flowey says. You don't respond.
Are you afraid it will hurt? Because it won't if you do it fast.
You don't respond. Sensing your disregard, the flower slithers closer.
Poor Sans.
He over-exaggerates his words.
How unfortunate it must be to have a soul, yet feel so soulless.
You don't respond.
I guess I'm lucky in that sense. We both can't feel. But at least I'm not killing my inside.
You don't respond.
Oh, but don't worry, Sans. Not like you can anymore. I will make it all stop. I'll put you out of your misery since you can't do it yourself.
100 small pops puncture the air as bullet seeds surround you in a dome from every possible angle. Flowey chuckles softly to himself.
Consider it a mercy killing.
You don't respond.
And just think, when you're gone, you won't be able to mess up anymore. No more mistakes, no more trouble to others, no more fighting to feel. And hey, you'll get to be with your brother again. Doesn't sound like a bad deal to me after all.
The bullet slowly pulling in closer, sealing the gap between them. You don't respond.
I don't see why this is such a hassle for you. You have no need to write a note, and you have no possessions to distribute in your will.
You don't respond.
Did you at least remember to say goodbye to all your friends? Oh, wait a minute. That's right. You don't have any because you let most of them die and pushed the rest away.
You don't respond.
I wonder how many execution points you'll give me. I doubt it will be anything since you are the weakest person in the entire underground. You probably won't even raise my love. That's all.
You don't respond.
Not like it matters much. Once I'm finished with you, there will be no one in my way who can stop me from getting love elsewhere.
You don't respond.
I think I'll start with Dr. Alpheus. She's pretty close to giving up after what you did to her. But I know she still won't go through with it without me and my encouragement.
You, ever so slightly, furrow your brow. Flowey doesn't catch sight of this action.
Then, after that, who knows? Maybe I'll track down that pesky armless monster kid and trip them on a bridge with no ropes. Or maybe I'll take out that annoying old turtle. Can you imagine a war hero legend being turned to dust by a measly little flower?
The bullets continue to creep closer, your fingers digging into your sleeves. But the flower's too busy listening to himself talk to notice.
Oh, the stakes will be so much higher now for this particular game. Every death will be permanent, even mine. But I think I can do it all in one go. And after I clear the underground, I'll be strong enough to tear down the pathetic excuse for a king, take his and the 6 human souls. Once that's done, I'll take control of the timeline by force and destroy this mountain and the surface world. And then I'll get really creative with my powers.
The bullets stop spinning and come to a halt, all pointed at you. They're so tightly packed, you can barely pick up Flowey's yellow out of the corner of your eye.
And this is all because of you.
Flowey boasts, his most pleasant grin.
Thank you, Sans. Goodbye.
The bullets fire.